Hi there. You are watching Secret War on Cash, our podcast where we talk about economic issues, what's happening in the banking system, what's happening in the economy with our dollar, and ways you can protect yourself. I am Chris Agelastos, an account executive here with Swiss America. Normally, Dean Heskin is joining me, but he's taken some much needed R&R. So we've got a little time without him today, but Dustin Anderson, one of our longtime advisors, is with us today. Dustin, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Honored to be here. How are you today?
Honored. Wow. I like that. Now, how long have you been with Swiss now?
This January, it'll be 19 years, if you can believe that. I cannot. So
yeah, I know. It goes by fast. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here is you've served a number of roles within the organization, so you've certainly seen a lot and experienced a lot, some of which we probably can't talk about. But I wanted to bring you on to talk a little bit more about this article that I saw. It kind of shocked me. I know we hear a lot about craziness in the banking system these days, but when I saw this, nearly 1/3 of all customers at U.S. banks have experienced fraud in the last 12 months. Even I was a little bit, surprised by that. I mean, one out of three people in
Sure.
a year's time is experiencing some fraud in their account. So what are they talking about here, and what are some of the things that you've heard about?
Well, I mean, one out of three people, I would say everyone at least knows one person that hasn't experienced some sort of bank fraud in the past few months. It seems like I personally know at least three people here that recently that have experienced bank fraud, whether it's someone getting access to their debit card number, credit card number, somehow they're able to use routing numbers. I don't know how they're doing it, but if it's just links they're clicking online, or if in some cases it's due to negligence on behalf of the bank. But it seems like more and more and more, it's part of reality today. Most people have just accepted it that's just part of banking today. It's one of the reasons why my wife still refuses to do any sort of online banking, but even she has somehow experienced people have tapped into her account. So I don't know. I don't think there's any getting away from it, and it's unfortunate, but it's the world we're living in.
Yeah, it is one of those things. Technology. It's sort of a blessing and a curse. It makes a lot of things easier for us on one hand, but then maybe makes us most vulnerable. I think they were even talking. I think it was this article. They talked about people just getting QR codes, sent to them or texted to them, and if you click on it, it takes you to a malicious website, and next thing you know, they've either downloaded your info or installed something on your computer, and now they have access to your private information.
Yeah, more and more. It's just technology, and you're right. It's kind of I don't know. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. Like you need it in order to wade the waters, I think. But I mean, think of how many restaurants you go to these days where they don't even have printed menus anymore, where they force you to scan the QR code, and you don't know what you're scanning. You just think it's whatever. And I don't know. It's quite frankly, it's a little annoying, but it's the world we're living in. So, but yeah, I saw that. So, and when I read this article today, it's like, all right, well, there's just another thing. You go, you think you're just scanning something because that's the only way to bring the website up is by scanning this goofy QR code, and Lord knows where it's taking you. If it's a fraudulent website, even if it looks real, and you think, okay, I click on this, and now you don't even know what you've downloaded. You don't know what information you've exposed to who has now infiltrated your data. I don't know. I mean, it ain't fun.
Yeah, and you said it there. A lot of these attempts, whether it's an email or a text, they look pretty legitimate. I mean, some of them you can spot, right? And if the spelling and everything looks like your fourth grader wrote it, then okay, maybe I shouldn't click on this. But some of them,
I know that. But I know a lot of people that of reasonable intelligence that should know that. But even then, and that's probably not even being fair to them, because I think we're just such on autopilot that you don't even think to look at the details. You think, okay, that looks like a Chase logo. You don't even think of it. It looks legit. You click on it and you're off to the races, or the hacker's off to the races, I guess.
That's right. With your life savings.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, which is one of the things, and one of the reasons why I wanted to, talk about this article a little bit, because we do hear from people all the time about, situations like this, or where somebody got access to their accounts, and even if it hasn't happened to them yet, like you said, they know somebody that it has happened to, so it's a big concern, and I think that's one of the reasons that we get a lot of people contacting Swiss America is because at least with gold and silver, you have something tangible. It's not to say that people can't steal your gold and silver as well, but it's a lot harder because they have to actually get their hands on it, as opposed to
you can't hack into a coin. There's no way to actually hack in to an actual tangible product. So you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And I know you've got a lot of experience with clients at the firm. Gosh, over that 19 years, and I think for a lot of people, if they haven't done anything with gold and silver before, maybe they've just heard about it. We all hear, oh, you should buy gold, you should buy Bitcoin, or whatever stock. But if you haven't actually done it, it can be a little intimidating. I think a lot of times people, just if they don't know what to do, instead of putting the time and effort into, educate themselves, sometimes it just gets pushed to the back burner. So I wanted to touch on a little bit about the gold and silver process with us, and I think especially even the precious metals IRA program, because I know most people have a good chunk of their savings in a retirement plan, a 401k or an IRA, a SEP plan, something like that. And that's also money that they're probably not going to need for a while, so they have time to be able to set it aside in something secure and let it grow. Can you share just a little bit, I guess, about the precious metals IRA program, and maybe just some common things about the program that you think others should know about?
Sure. Quite frankly, it's probably has become one of the most popular ways with our clients here to protect assets. It is peace of mind, especially with Trump getting elected, because gold prices did do better under Trump than they did Biden. So we've been receiving a lot of inbound calls and web inquiries from people wanting to protect what they have while they can. Especially, you look at the what's happened over the past 4 years and how much inflation has been baked into the system, and it's just there's a lot of good opportunity for people to protect what they have inside their IRAs. So with precious metals IRAs, it is one of the only few assets that I can think of, or few vehicles that will allow you to put a physical, tangible asset that you control inside of your retirement plan. And I remember back in 2007, 2008, before the Great Recession took place, where we had clients, people that, were getting ready, they were close to retirement age, that were, it was on the horizon, and not a very distant horizon, but they had plans to retire, and they looked at the 401ks, and at that point, the Dow had reached record highs at that point. And then we saw what took place. The bubble was popped, 07, 08 took place, and retirement was put on hold for a while for them to recoup some of that money. So it feels very much like that now. Not that I think that there's going to be a stock market pop before too long, but it has been moving up for quite some time, and typically you tend to see recessions take place, or at least bubbles pop on average every 7 to 10 years, and we're sort of there. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Without getting too political, the one thing that Trump has been able to hang his hat on is the economy, and there are a lot of global forces now that I think are going to a good way to attack him would be to attack the economy. And if they're able to short
Right.
the dollar, short the stock market, do whatever they can in order to make his job that much more difficult, because let's face it, the last time he was in office, I mean, they did whatever they could to make his life difficult. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of cases for gold. So it's a very simple process that will allow you to convert out of paper that most people are currently tied up inside their IRAs. It will allow them to buy actual physical metals that they are in charge of. That, Lord forbid,
Mm-hmm.
should anything happen to the dollar, to our debts and deficits, to the stock market, you do not need to go say "Mother, may I" to a bank in order to get access to your monies. So, and it's sort of what you touched on before. There's no way to hack into an actual physical coin or physical bar. You can put physical gold in there, physical silver, and it is a way to keep the monies completely tax deferred for the lifetime of your self-directed IRA. And you can, especially now coming up on the end of the year, people, once you get over the age, currently it's now 73, but you have to do what are called required minimum distributions. The advantage that you have with the precious metals IRA that you don't have, at least that 99% of most people don't have with their current IRAs, is no one ever wants to have to sell their gold. But let's say you got to take out $5,000 because Uncle Sam says, okay, it's time for your RMD. In most cases, you have to sell the investment, and then you have a check or direct deposit sent to you for that amount for the RMD. But with an actual physical precious metals IRA, the advantage that you have that you don't currently have is you can have actual gold sent to you or actual silver. So it's sent to you from the
Right.
depository. It fulfills Uncle Sam's required minimum distribution that you need to do for the year, and you don't have to sell your gold and jump back into dollars, which, at this point, it's bigger than one. Not to knock Trump, but it's bigger than any one individual.
Right.
You look at inflation and the problem. You look at the $35 trillion that we owe now, not to even
Mm-hmm.
take into consideration the hundred and some odd trillion that we're going to owe in the future. No one thinks cost of living is going down by any real measurable
Right.
amount. We may have some ups and downs along the way, but realistically, we're probably going to be paying more for the same thing a year from
Yeah.
now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. So a good way to protect against that is through physical metals. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of benefits to it. Any of our advisors, if someone wanted to call in and get any questions answered on that, not that they even necessarily need to know if they want to make a decision right now, but I think sometimes what's required in order to get to that point is just by doing a little bit of homework. And I think by calling in, speaking with someone, getting a few questions answered, you can find out if it's the best fit for you. So I would
Yeah.
encourage anyone call or visit the website, and we can certainly get any of your questions taken care of. We're happy to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect, and you're right. I think people just need to start somewhere and get a little bit of knowledge. And once they have a good understanding, I mean, almost everybody I talk to shares that they just sleep better at night once they get something done. Whether it's in
Sure.
their IRA or if they just buy even privately, outside of their retirement plan. Either way, just knowing that you have something that no matter what, at least for our time here on Earth, precious metals have always really been a monetary exchange of wealth, that no matter where you are or what happened, you could exchange that for some type of currency and take care of yourself and your family. And I think that's one of the big things with these banking problems, and sure, the political atmosphere and all those other things you mentioned, even more so. Give yourself a little peace of mind. So thank you for all of that, Dustin. And yeah, I would encourage
Sure.
you all go to SwissAmerica.com or maybe even easier, call or text our 800 number, 800-289-2646, which is also 800 buy, BUY, coin, COIN. If you're not sure, we have a bunch of different publications. So I know we talk about the war on cash a lot. We have that up on your screen now, but we have a bunch of different reports. So, when you call in or text in, let us know what some of your concerns are. We'll match you up with materials that can help you. And we are very low pressure here. I mean, our goal is really to just educate people and help them have a better understanding so that they can make an informed decision. So if you like this video or are listening to our podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see this kind of content. That does help us to know what you want to hear and what you appreciate, so that we can continue down that path with you. And Dustin, I appreciate your time again. And until
Sure.
next time, all of you take care.
Thank you.